Spoilers. Guys, if you haven't seen the last episode of Supernatural, what are you doing? Turn back now. Do not watch this podcast. This is where we're discussing the very last episode of Supernatural, season 15. So, yeah, don't watch if you haven't seen it yet. Or on your head be it. You've been warned. So, there will be no recording tonight of. There will be no reaction recording tonight, really. With us all after watching the Supernatural final. We're just all a bit. We just need some time. So yeah, we'll check back in. We'll have a chat tomorrow. So last week we here on Merck's Face we did a rundown of the last 15 years on Supernatural, gearing up for the final ever episode. Really excited about it. We were going to do a reaction episode on the podcast straight after watching the final episode of Supernatural, but unfortunately we were all left a bit emotional. That's not a good enough word. We were truly grieving for the loss of friends and family members from the past 15 years, and we were grieving for the loss of the show, and we just needed a minute to gather ourselves. So here we are, a week later. I'm not with Tracy this week though. I've got Jamie Crawford is joining me to talk about how we feel about how they ended 15 years of the greatest show ever. So get ready, and hope you've got your beers. We have no pie tonight. I ate it all, needed it all, not last night. And welcome to Supernatural. Carry on, my wayward son. ... Don't you cry no more. Okay, so here is Jamie Crawford joining me tonight to talk about the final ever episode of Supernatural. How you feeling? While I crack open my beer.
Yeah, I'm feeling okay. Like I said, we were supposed to watch it together, but unfortunate circumstances took it away from us to share that moment forever. But
yeah,
we watched it at the same time, at least in separate houses. But we have mixed emotions about it. We'll just say that for now.
Do we? I didn't realize that. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's taken us a week to gather ourselves, not for scheduling reasons, but because it was there was a lot.
You were very emotional after.
I was not alone. The SBN fan base was incredibly emotional worldwide. So, but yeah, okay then. Before we delve into the deep stuff, the opening of the episode was very optimistic. It was lovely.
Like you said, it's all basically a utopia, isn't it? Like Jack is now God. There's not really much evil stuff. They've defeated God. Everything's happy again. They've got a dog.
Oh, that dog! Miracle! He was so cute. I was so happy when Dean woke up with the dog there, and he just snuggling, and I was so happy he kept him.
Yeah, and then like I said, it was all nice and happy and getting on with their lives.
Yeah.
A nice little morning montage of just everything, how they do it. It obviously shows the contrast between Dean and Sam. Dean being his messy self and Sam being all.
They balance each other out very well.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so exciting when they were looking for some things to go and hunt, and then Dean's like, "I've found something." We weren't expecting awesomeness of the pie festival.
I just wish I was there to see your reaction for that, because I know you would absolutely love it.
I had my pie.
And I'm sure you did. Yeah,
And
pie.
I was very excited to be eating pie with Dean and sharing that moment with him. It was good times.
Yeah. And he had what, 8 slices of pie, 6 slices of pie in that massive box?
Do you know what? Like, that just made everything else that happened so much better. So, like, more copable, because, you know,
He had his final meal.
the final meal, exactly. That's what I would say.
Yeah,
he had his final meal, and it was the best meal ever. So yeah, lots of pie.
It all goes downhill from that point. So what were yours going into expectations was basically we're gonna have, I always thought they're just gonna carry on as they're going, so they're gonna go do a lot like a vamp hunt, and it's just gonna be like a normal episode from like season 1 and 2. It's just the 2 of them on the road doing some normal hunts, and then maybe even do another one after that as well, and you're just like, yeah, we're happy to continue. But they had to just close everything off and finalize it, which I completely understand. They don't want to leave it open-ended and carry on going. They gave it a final chapter, which it probably did deserve and didn't at the same time. Certain people deserved more in the story, but yeah, the way it ended, it's ended. But it should have ended in series 5 when Eric Kripke left, when he had his initial plan. Like I said, he left as the showrunner. He did everything he wanted to do with the series, and then that was it. And then she took over, Sarah Gamble, and then it just went in a completely different direction after that. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad it continued for another 10 years, because obviously there's some great moments over those 10 years. I said, and so many great characters as well from those 10 years, and the character development of Crowley and Lucifer and Jack when he came in as well in the last few seasons. So I'm glad it continued, but it was a great finale, series 5. And if I ever did rewatch it again, I would probably say the penultimate episode of this season would be the finale. I probably wouldn't watch that episode again, because that was a perfect finale. When we watched it together, we were like, what's happening next week? Like, that was literally a perfect finale, and I don't understand how they did more, but like I said, they closed it all off. So
I think a lot of the Supernatural fans around the world share that sentiment with you, that the penultimate episode was perfect and it was a true finale. And I think that's why they did the montage at the end, because it's like they've given us 2 different final episodes and you can choose which one you want, because there's a lot of people out there saying episode 20 never happened, I've written it off completely, episode 19 was the last episode. And I think that is truly why they did it, so that, because it was going to be so difficult to please everybody in the fan base, it's given you both options there. And for me, I mean, I liked both, and I could never have chosen which one I wanted. So I'm glad we have both, because it was really nice to see them drive off into the sunset and have that nice little rosy ending of the hope for the future. But it was also nice as a fan who would have been always hanging on and wondering and creating my own ideas in my own head of what happened next. It was nice to have that closure as well and see how the rest of their lives played out completely and how it all completely ended. And I did really, really like that. I did. But yeah, so I mean, it's discussed, you know, how we feel about it anyway, but I mean, we need to like discuss the actual moment things did change. So, you know, we had the Pie Festival, very lovely, beautiful day, gave us a lot of hope and excitement for the episode. Thought we were going to have what you said, the kind of episode where they go and have a normal salmonine day and go and do some hunting as well after the fun bits. And so they go to a vamp nest, and then things happen. So,
I mean, it was pretty violent as well. The actual gang, that gang was pretty violent.
They were scary. I remember thinking, these are really like, this is like the next level up of scary and more like grown up version of vampires and scariness. Like, they were wearing those masks, and it was just, yeah. Oh no, we've lost Jamie. Let's wait for him to come back.
Can you hear me?
I can now. Do you realise you went?
Yeah, I was speaking for ages, and then all of a sudden it just decided to just crash and just go off. I was talking about obviously the vamps and like how crazy that whole that nest was actually when they went to that family's house, and then quite brutal, like the killings and stuff, and then obviously kidnapped the kids, and then I think they were quite crazy, and they went back to Dad's book and obviously had the diary, so that was a nice little bit on there as well.
Nice touch.
It was going back to the basics, shall we say? And then he gets nailed.
Oh, don't say that.
Obviously, no longer have God on their side, as it turned out it was for the past 15 years or so, or 14 years, because he like turned it at the end of 14, didn't he? But
that's a comment that I have from someone that can't be here tonight. I'll come to that in a minute. But like, what were you thinking during that fight scene anyway? What were you thinking? Just another fight scene, or were you expecting anything?
I saw a small comment to say Dean deserved more, and I was like, he's gonna die.
So before the episode aired, well, before we saw
it. And then,
I
saw it on Facebook. The only comment I saw was Dean deserved more, and I was like, well, obviously maybe he should have had like a family or a kid or something, or maybe he's gonna die. And then when they got to that bit, and then obviously, as a film,
I saw it too.
How we say, you saw that shot of the nail, and it's like, stuff's gonna happen here.
Yeah.
And when they were fighting and he was going towards it, it was like, is he gonna turn him around? It's just gonna make you think he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And no, he went all the way, and it was like, oh no, that's the end of Dean. Like that's it. Like he's gone. But with Supernatural, it's all like they've died how many times? I think Dean's died hundreds of times. I mean, if you count the Groundhog Day episode, he's died like thousands of times.
Literally, I saw a t-shirt this morning on Hot Topic, and it was like Sam and Dean deaths, and it was all listed on the back like a tour t-shirt. And I was like, God, I don't even remember them being that many times. But yeah, it was all listed like that. It's crazy.
I mean, if they counted the Groundhog Day as one, I don't know if they did or not. Dean's died thousands of times because he relived that day where he kept dying and dying and dying.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've all died and brought each other back, made deals to obviously bring each other back, or they've died, then time's been reversed. It's kind of like, so it all happens. So you're thinking, well, maybe he's just gonna make a deal and bring him back, but again, it's the last episode, so they weren't gonna do that. But I mean, Sam died at the end of series 5, didn't he? But then came back to kind of, so
literally, if that had been the last episode, all it was though was him standing by the window looking in, and that's how it would have ended.
Which would have been amazing. And there's room there to do more, which obviously they did do. But it closed the whole Lucifer chapter, and obviously, where can you go besides Lucifer, who's the biggest being in the whole universe? It's God, isn't it? So it was the only way. It's kind of like the DC show Lucifer. They finally brought God into it as well. So
there's only
nowhere else you can really go with it. So
exactly,
you have to do it at some point.
Which is why we knew like this was going to be when God's the big bad. We knew like, well, that's going to be it then, you know. Which is why when we had the last episode where they defeat him, it was like, so how is there going to be another episode now, because you just defeated God, so what else can happen? But going back to like I said, in the fight, and I saw that as well, and apparently it's called a barb or something, I don't know, some kind of thing, and I saw it, a flash of it, and I was like, they just focused on that. I was like, nah, it'll be fine. Maybe the vampire's going to go into it.
Yeah.
And then they were like, the fight was ending, they were winning it, and they won it, and he went, as they won it, he went into it, and I was like, no. And I said no, I don't know how many times, this cannot be happening. This isn't happening. Because my mind was thinking, this isn't how they would kill Dean. This isn't it. No, he can't be that deep into it, or it can't be that deep into him, or some. It's fine. no. and then the realization for me was when the realization was on Dean's face, and he was like, shit, this is it. And then Sam suddenly started to notice, and then Sam's going through everything. We were just going through, like, panicking and going, no, it's okay, you know, we'll sort it out. And I'm just there going, call an ambulance. But how
any other episode, if it wasn't the finale, would have pulled him off and put him in the car.
Exactly. So that's what I was thinking. I was like, I know he's not going to do that. I know he's not going to go and fix him, because this is the final episode, and that has just happened for a reason. And what kind of a final episode would it be if he went, all right, we're just going to do what we always do. We're going to get you off here and we're going to go and fix you and it's going to be fine. So I knew inside what was happening, but I was just like, I can't accept this. This isn't happening. And then he launched into the death speech, which just killed me even more. I was just screaming at the telly, like, no, this isn't happening.
Broke at that point.
Oh, literally. There was 2 moments. Well, there's 3 moments, sorry. There was, please don't leave me. And then, you know, there was a long speech, there was loads of stuff in it. There was, please don't leave me. And then there was, always keep fighting, which was obviously a lovely, beautiful reference to the great mental health organization and charity and thing they've set up over the years, helping people all over the world. So that made me choke. And then when he then was like,
can't do this alone.
Please, Sam, no, it was, tell me it's okay. Tell me it's okay. Like, so many times he's been like, I can't leave my baby brother. So many times he's had to bring me back, or I've had to bring him back, and it's not been okay to, as the big song is, you know, like, lay your weary head to rest. It's not been okay for him to lay his weary head to rest, and he's had that pressure of, I can't die and leave Sam. But now he's like, I'm pretty sure I'm okay to go now. I just need Sam to tell me it's okay, because I can't go with him still scared. So when he was saying that to Sam, and it just absolutely broke me, because it's something that my mum said in the past, that when she's been with relatives that have been passing away, old relatives, and she's been saying to them, it's okay, you can go now. And that, like, really hit me when Sam was like, right, okay, it's okay. And I was just like, no, it's not okay, Dean. But so yeah, that moment, and then that was it then. And this is, everyone that I've spoken to, big Supernatural fans, have said the same. From that moment, tears, screaming the whole way through the episode, rest of the episode. But I only started to be a bit okay again. Well, not okay, but I started to go when he appeared in heaven. I started to neutralize when he appeared in heaven and we saw his face again, because all I was thinking was, well, we're not very far into the episode, Dean's just died, what is the rest of the episode going to be? Just Sam on his own? What's going to happen? And I'm like, this is it, this is all of Dean we get. But then we went to heaven, which I forgot we could do, and that was really nice.
It was a nice heaven, like said Jack, fixed heaven.
Cheers. Exactly.
But and then obviously he fixed heaven, and he got his nice moment in heaven while Sam was down on earth. And the thing is, Dean, the greatest hunter of all time, deserved a lot better than that. And you always hate the whole things where they change the characters. Like, you always go on about how they change characters over here. Dean would not have got out like that. There was no way. But I don't agree with it. Like, Dean wouldn't let that happen.
But it's not about letting that happen. That was like a freak accident. So everyone online saying, oh, he wouldn't be killed by just a vamp. And he wasn't killed by the vamp. The vamp shoved him and he went into a stray barb. And it wasn't the vamp that killed him. He killed the vamp. He did his job. He killed the vamp. He's a great hunter. He just had a human accident. And I think that's what people aren't realizing. And my friend Jane, who isn't here, who couldn't be here, wanted me to say her views on the subject, which you've sort of already touched on. Let me just find what she said. It was based on the God thing. Okay, so she said, so when Chuck died, they lost their luck, which is why Dean died that way in their first humpback. He died fighting, which is what he always wanted, and Sam got to live his apple pie life. So it's basically like she said, that their luck wasn't there anymore, so accidents like that were able to happen. And that for me is, so even though I was like, yes, this is wrong, Dean deserves better, at the same time I was like, well, it makes it more real, sort of. It was just an unlucky accident, and he didn't diminish his hunting. But that's just me.
Like I said, Jensen was a bit weary of the last episode as well. He said that himself. And maybe there's an alternate ending, or maybe, like you said, it's 2 finales and you get to choose which one. I like to think he wouldn't go out that way, and I think he deserves to have a happy life. Like Sam was always going to have that ending. That's the way he started, that's the way he was going to end. Sam was always destined for the normal, happy family life. And that's what he should have got, and he did. So I'm very happy that Sam got that. Some people say, like you said, Dean wanted to die hunting. But there's no legacy there. He's dead now. It's like, at least have a kid. Like, maybe, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, granted, Sam's kind of given birth, and not Sam himself, but had a kid, and obviously renamed him Dean, and I know obviously you got really emotional at that point as well, when obviously the montage happened with his family and then his little baby Dean, or you're like, when that moment happened, it was like, is this going to be like Dean as a child and it's going to show him his whole life, and then all of a sudden Sam picks him up and it's like, oh, he's named his kid Dean, and then just takes you in a completely different direction. So I mean, like I said, the only bit that really got me, like I said, I know a lot of people were crying from that point, but when Dean's in heaven and he gets in Baby, and then he puts on the radio and then Kansas starts playing, that's when you know, like, this is the end now. Like, this is going to be the big montage and it's over. And that's the end of Supernatural. And that's the bit that got me. It's even making me a little tear up now, like thinking obviously it's over from that point. But like I said, you can't dispute 15 years in prime time on TV, the longest running like genre TV show of all time, and the impact it's had on, even if it did like go completely, I say completely crap, it wasn't completely crap, but go off the wire for about 3 seasons or so, when you're just like, ugh, why am I still watching this? But I mean, I originally stopped watching it halfway through series 4 when it first started, and then went back at like series 7 and then watched series 1 to 7 again, because I was like, angels, why are angels in it? Eric Kripke didn't even want angels in it. But then obviously Castiel is like one of the greatest things that could have happened to that show. And Castiel, but when he first came into it, I think the last episode I watched is where he's a hippie and he's getting high, and I was like, why am I watching this show now? And I think that's when I stopped watching it, because I was like, what have they done? But when you look back, it's like Castiel is probably the greatest addition to the whole cast. Like, it's Sam, Dean, and Castiel. Like, you don't remember much of it when it's just the 2 of them anymore, because he came in so early, like I said, in series 4.
It felt though like, it's now I'm like, oh my god, I can't imagine, I barely remember it without him. But I remember I said this in the last podcast. I remember before he came into it, because I'd stopped watching it because I think it went to a different channel, or I went to uni or whatever, and then I started watching it again in about 2013, and I was borrowing the DVDs from my friends from work, and I was just talking about it and how much I loved it, and then he started talking about this guy, and I was like, who's this guy you're talking about? I don't know who this is. And they were like, oh my god, you don't even know who Cass is yet, do you? I completely forgot. And I was like, who? Why is this person so important? They're like, oh no, Cass is huge later. Cass is huge. And I was like, whatever, it's Sam and Dean. And now you can't imagine it without him.
He loves the pizza man.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I said, he's one of the greatest additions, I think. And I think it was wasn't yourself, it was Janie said, was last week on the podcast, and he said it's got one of the best entrances ever. The
Tracy
lights
said,
are flickering. Tracy said, sorry. And Chase said it's like one of the best entrances ever. And like I said, it is great when he walks in. And he showed it on the documentary as well. We've not even talked about the documentary beforehand.
No,
but,
we'll talk about that.
But I mean, annoyingly, he wasn't on the podcast. He wasn't on the podcast, obviously, because it's just me and you. But he wasn't on the documentary, and he wasn't in the last episode. Castiel deserves so much more.
It's true, but
He wasn't
then
in the documentary.
Then you've got to factor in, is that because of coronavirus? I mean, the documentary you could have had him on Zoom or something.
Filming. They didn't just film the last episode. They were filming the last few episodes. So I don't understand why they didn't just come back and just film the last episode.
Then. No,
they came back and filmed the last 4 or 5, or the last 7.
I think it was just the last 2 actually, because on an interview I saw with Jensen, he was talking about when he filmed the last episode with Cass. That was before lockdown. I might be remembering wrong actually.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, so if that's the case, then fair enough. Maybe that's why no one else was in it. But it's just annoying because there was so much potential. Like I said, there was no Crowley, there was no Rowena,
I was really hoping
there was
for
no
Crowley.
Castiel, there was nothing. No John, no Mary.
Yeah, when Bobby said that they were down the road, I was like, oh, are we going to see them?
Yeah.
But no.
So maybe again that was the original plan. So maybe they just had to change little bits of it, and they were all supposed to be there. I think when we spoke about it, you said, well, maybe they were all going to be there when they were burning his body. The Hunt's funeral.
Yeah, he might have meant to have had a Hunt's funeral, but then I also thought about it afterwards, and I thought, well, would Sam be like even okay enough to call everyone and say, guys, come round, we're gonna burn Dean? Like, I feel like in a way Dean definitely deserved that, to have everybody and have a proper big Hunter's funeral, but I also feel like Sam maybe wouldn't have been able to cope with that, and would have just been like, I just need to do this on my own with the dog.
Again, like if it is coronavirus and that's why everyone else went in there, maybe Dean was supposed to die a completely different way by returning character. You don't know, do you? Like there's so many speculations that you could have. Maybe somebody came back and killed him.
Maybe. It was weird that like randomly it was like a vampire that they'd met before years earlier, that girl that was in it. Yeah. And then but then she wasn't really, she was there for like a second and they killed her anyway. It wasn't really very significant. I was like, well, I don't really know what much the point in that was. But anyway, I don't know though, because also in the interview Watch with Jensen, he was talking a bit about how he was a bit uneasy about the ending when he'd read the script and they had the meeting. But that he then also had a chat and a sit down with the writers or whoever afterwards, and they kind of explained to him why they'd done things the way they'd done, and he was like, okay, I understand that, and accepted it in that way. So I feel like it was supposed to be like that anyway. I don't really think much changed from what I've heard. Not a lot changed because of coronavirus. So
yeah, that's what they originally said. So yeah. But again, I don't agree with it. I think it could have been so much better. But
what would you have had happen?
What would I have had happened?
Yeah.
There was loads of speculations before the last episode anyway. I thought maybe like Cass would have become God at one point, but then obviously Jack became God, which is completely understandable. He's the most powerful being in the world. So that's fine. Like, I'm happy with Jack becoming God. It was his arc and he's done that. That's fine. And Castiel would have been his right hand man, like his archangel, and they kind of touched upon that.
They did, yeah.
Well, they fixed heaven, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And then I thought, like I said, Stan would have got his happy life, and then maybe all monsters were gone from Earth because Jack did that.
Yeah.
Or something.
That's what I thought. Maybe,
just live a happy life. And they could go and basically
there's no way, like you said before about Dean having a happy life, there's no way anything would stop him hunting, because he wouldn't be able to stop helping people. I don't think he would have ever stopped hunting. The only thing that was going to stop him hunting was death or no monsters anymore.
Or, like I said to you as well, I think maybe he could have died sacrificing himself for Sam.
Yeah.
So it's like Sam was getting beat up or something, or I know demons don't really use guns, but he jumped in front of a bullet per se, and obviously that killed him, and then that allowed Sam to go have his normal life. They could still do the same speech as he's dying on the floor, but but then obviously he sacrificed himself for Sam to go and have his life rather than a stupid nail going into him. But yeah, maybe that, and then he can still carry on with the whole heaven stuff. I thought maybe at one point they'll both become archangels because there's no angels anymore, because they're basically all dead and they need archangels. So I thought, well, maybe all the good that they've done, they can have that power and become archangels, and then they can rebuild heaven together. And then that's their eternal happiness of being angels. Maybe.
Basically, every theory that we had, none came true. Like, we had so many theories, and the fans had so many theories, and I thought it would have been at least one of those, but we didn't expect what happened at all.
No. Which is good because the writers can come up with fresh ideas.
Yeah, which I do like.
But I mean, nobody predicted it to a degree.
No.
But like I said, everybody said Sam should have his normal life, and he did, and we're happy for that. Dean was probably going to die. If anybody had to die, it was going to be Dean.
Yeah.
So fair enough. And like I said, he had his happy moment in heaven, and like I said, I cried when Kansas came on. He got to road in Baby and just traveling through Canada, basically, just because we know it's in Canada. But you know, he got to just drive through those trees and have his moment. And then we all knew as soon as he got off that bridge, Sam was going to turn up any minute. And obviously we saw the Sam montage, and
oh my god, that just like that just killed me all over again, because so we'd lost Dean, but then he appeared in heaven, and I was like, okay, I feel a little bit calmer. He's with Bobby, it looks like a nice place. This says it's a nice place. And then you saw Sam all like sad and on his own. I was like, oh my god, what is he going to do? Is he going to carry on? And then he got that call, Agent Bon Jovi, and then you don't really know if he actually went to that. I think he probably did go to that, but then they never really, even in the montage, never really said if he carried on hunting, even though they had the family. I like to think he did a bit.
Yeah, because the only link was obviously the tattoo on his kid.
Yeah, his son had the tattoo. I mean, from the moment the montage started with, oh my god, with baby Dean, Dean Jr., and then panning up to Sam's face, so happy. I was like, oh my god, and it just filled me with this, like, so you've gone from seeing Sam so sad and broken from losing his brother to then seeing him so happy a couple of years later or whatever. And I was like, oh, thank you. I'm so happy that he's got this, and he's got what he needs. He's got a family, and it was beautiful, and the whole montage, and then going back to Dean in heaven, and I then suddenly realized, I was like, right, okay, this drive is going to be the full length of the rest of Sam's life. And then I just goosebumps, the whole thing, beautiful, like ballad version of Carry On My Wayward Son. And I was like, we're going to hear the whole song, and it was just absolutely stunning. It annoys me that you didn't clearly see his wife's face, but I'm hoping it was Aileen. I'm presuming it was Aileen, but they didn't say if it was. And then I didn't expect it to go, all the way to him being old and grey and dying. Wig. Oh, the weird wig. Apparently someone says somewhere that like that's a thing they do on the CW. They have weird wigs. You said that, they have weird wigs. Okay.
Yeah, they always do that in the finales, apparently.
It was odd.
Weird old wigs.
But yeah, he got Baby back out again, and he took her for a drive.
Just sat in it.
Yeah. And then his son. His son was there with him at his deathbed, and then he said the same thing that Sam had said to Dean. It's okay. You can go now. It's okay. And then, Dean's drive came to an end, and he got out of the car and stood on the bridge, and I was like, hey, okay. And then he smiled because he could feel him behind him, and then there he was, and they were back together, and oh my god, it just
back young again in his prime without his wedding ring on, like none of that even happened.
Yeah, no, but it's like who you are in your prime kind of thing, isn't it? I don't know. It was just beautiful, and just showed the immense love that they have for each other, and it was just stunning, and it just broke me completely, and I really was grieving.
Yeah, like I said, from that whole drive bit, that was a bit, and then like I said, after the credits, when they acknowledged the fans, broke the fourth wall, spoke to the fans, all the crew was there. Like I said, that was beautiful. And like I said, that's what the show is. It's for the fans. And like I said, they broke that fourth wall and acknowledged it, because that's what I mean. It was a beautiful show. And it's a family.
Yeah.
Just too bad it wasn't the best episode, and it's rated the worst episode on IMDb on Supernatural's 15 years.
In their opinion. I wouldn't say it's the worst episode after, you know, a whole season of Leviathans, but, you know, whatever. Come on.
Yeah, but like I said, it had its moments. I enjoyed parts of it. I just think certain characters deserve more. Whether coronavirus obviously took that away, then fair enough. There's nothing we can do about it. But the penultimate episode was the perfect finale, and we didn't need that. I get how they closed it all up because there's so much stuff that they can do, and I have ideas of how they can go ahead and do it because so many stuff is getting revived nowadays anyway. Like, say, Sex and the City went and did their movies like 10 years ago, and now they're bringing back so many TV shows. I can't think off the top of my head what they've recently saw. Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell, I was going to say.
Entourage is talking about maybe they're coming back next year.
Yeah.
So there's so many shows that can go on, and it's like there's so much stuff that you could still do with the supernatural lore. Whether it's just going to be, that's why I thought maybe I said to you, well, what about the ending of, say, they're both still alive, and then it kind of mirrors how Supernatural started, where Dean's on a hunting trip, and then he goes to Sam's son and says, we need to go find my dad because he's gone missing. That kind of thing. But I say that would be really, really cool, but then I hated when Once Upon a Time did it. But
exactly.
So I don't know. But then and then another one was like, well, they're in heaven now. What if heaven gets invaded by demons or something goes wrong in heaven? And they could do like a 10-episode miniseries 5 years down the line where heaven gets invaded and they've got to save heaven and save God, and everyone could be all together again and do 10 episodes. There's so much stuff you can do with the supernatural lore.
There is.
I mean, but it's not like they're going to be stuck in Sam and Dean. I mean, they're always going to be known as Sam and Dean forever, but at least they've actually gone on to do something else.
Like exactly.
They've both got TV shows coming within the next year. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the only worry is like, are they just going to be known as Sam and Dean and they're not going to do anything else because it's going to be typecast? And maybe they'll just do like 1 or 2 appearances as like a hunter in a film or something like that. But
yeah, I mean, I was worried about that. I've been worried about that for a few years. But then when I heard the announcements of both of their new shows before Supernatural was even ending, I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. And they're not like small rubbish things either. They're big show. Well, The Boys, where Jensen Ackles is moving on to, is already huge. Like, people love it, and it's a great show. I mean, we've finished season 1. We've still got season 2 to go. My friends at work can't stop talking about it.
And who created it?
And Eric Kripke created it, right? Oh my God, what better hands could you be in?
So wait until Jared Padalecki makes an appearance at some point.
Oh yeah, probably will. But yeah, so Jensen's coming in as Soldier Boy in season 3. So it's going to be really cool to see him, based on what we've already seen of The Boys. It's going to be really cool to see him playing what I think is going to be a complete U-turn of a character for him, completely different.
This is the only thing you've really seen him in, though, isn't it? I mean,
I've seen him in like 1 or 2 episodes of Dawson's Creek.
Or he did obviously the horror film Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, I've not seen that.
Obviously, he's in Smallville, which obviously you haven't got up to yet.
But we've not got up to that bit yet, though.
But he's in a whole season playing Lana Lang's love interest and a PE teacher. So
yeah, well, he's like a whole season or more of Dawson's Creek as a boyfriend. And I've seen a couple of episodes of that, and it was like, whoa.
I've seen Jared Padalecki in Gilmore Girls, and
I know I really want to watch Gilmore Girls. I think I like it, but I've just not had a chance.
No, it's very good. It used to be one of those E4 morning shows at like 8 a.m. So I used to just watch little bits of it. I've probably seen most of it, but I've never watched it chronologically together. But like Jared Padalecki plays a few, and he came back for the reunion, which they did 2 years ago on Netflix. He actually came back and did an episode of it. Well,
I'm a bit scared of seeing him in that, but it'll be fun. It's just going to be like young Sam.
And he did was it Friday the 13th he did as well?
Yeah. You've got them the right way around. Yeah, it was Jared that did Friday the 13th and Jensen that did My Bloody Valentine. But yeah, so I'm excited. I'm really, really excited actually to see Jensen in The Boys. I think that's going to be really cool, and I feel like that's a solid thing for him to be going into, and it gives him loads of scope for the future. Jared, I'm excited for. I really, really hope, because this is different because it's a brand new show, Walker, based on what the hell is it called? What's it called again now?
Walker Texas Ranger.
Walker Texas Ranger. That's it. Based on Walker Texas Ranger. Yeah, that is it. Walker Texas Ranger. And they're just shortened the title to just Walker. And he is, of course, playing the lead character. And because it's a new show, it's not as easy, not as like concrete as like Jensen going into an already successful show. Jared's starting afresh, and you've got to see if the fans, well, if the public, if the audience are going to enjoy it, and if it's going to get picked up properly. Mm-hmm. So obviously I'll be there watching it to support him. I'm sure the whole of the SPM family will be there supporting him. I hope it is really good. From images I've seen and stuff, it looks cool. I like that he's cut his hair, so he's got rid of Sam, and he looks different. So I'm excited for it. And of course he's at home in Texas, so it's a bit easier for him.
No more traveling to Vancouver.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, in one of the interviews I saw with them, he was talking about the moment he was leaving Canada. He was at the border when they finished filming, and the guy on the gate on the border was like, right, okay, yeah, who are you, where are you going, blah blah. And he was like, oh, we've just been here filming a TV show. All right, yeah, what TV show? Supernatural. And he was like, oh, you guys have been coming and going here for a long time now. And he was like, yep, we have. And now like it's all over, and just the realization for him. He said that was one of the big moments for him.
Like I said, there's scope to do more, and maybe I hope they don't not get just washed out and they don't do anything else and they're like, well, let's just bring Supernatural back. I hope they do it for the right reasons rather than the wrong reasons if they ever do decide to do it again, because there is scope and Supernatural lore to go and do it again with Eric Kripke and do it right.
Yeah, like they're already
even a mini series, like I said, 10 episodes in 5 years.
Again, in big as something else again, and like definitely have successful careers, but for fun and for like for the right reasons, for the storyline, for the fans to go back to it.
Oh, I mean, like I said, they did Friday the 13th and My Bloody Valentine, which got completely slated. They're not like great films.
Yeah.
But even a Supernatural film would make a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
At the cinema.
Oh.
So even if you just did a 2-hour film, just basically maybe scrapping the whole last episode and taking it from the penultimate episode, you never know. Maybe that was just an alternate reality or a dream. Maybe. You don't know, do you? Maybe the trickster came back and pulled a trick on everyone.
Maybe the Pie Festival was like a
coma. Maybe,
a mirage thing, yeah.
So you never know. There is so much scope that they could do and take it in different ways. Maybe it goes on to, maybe they do, because they were supposed to do Wayward Sisters at some point. Maybe they do a spin-off with.
I'm so gutted that didn't get taken up. I was really excited about that.
Yeah, maybe they just do a spin-off with Sam's son Dean, and he finds baby and he finds the diary and decides to go out hunting. Maybe because, like I said, he's got the tattoo, so why not? He's going to be trained in it. Like I said, there's so much scope to keep Supernatural alive and keep going, and the fans are there. Like, fans will watch it regardless.
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt.
So,
without a doubt. I know. I'm just trying to refresh my memory if there's anything else like that I thought about that I really wanted to mention. Something I know right back at the beginning when they were scoping out the vamp attack at the family's house. How gorgeous was it? When they like Agent Kripke, was that Agent Kripke and Agent Singer or something like that? I was like, oh, it's beautiful, a great moment. I was like, yes, this was when I was still in the happy mode of pie, beer, Kripke, woo! And then everything went on.
And Singer.
Yeah, exactly. And Singer, woo!
Yeah. Like I said, it's always been that kind of postmodern TV show where they've done so much stuff which is like incredible, like the Scooby-Natural episode and the one where they played themselves. So they've always had those moments of postmodernism in there. It's just great.
Yeah, in the documentary when they were like, could we be more meta? We were like, most meta ever. It was so funny. I was like,
let's just see how far we can go with it. I mean, who wouldn't watch a whole series of Scooby-Natural?
Oh my God, please. Now that is what they should do. That is a little thing that they could do up on the side. That would be just
a Scooby-Natural film. Maybe there was like a little bit in series 13 or 14 that they could literally go back and film and just like they could do a film and say, well, this happened when they were alive. Like you
Yeah.
could still do like a weird Scooby-Natural film, and Scooby-Doo do films of WWE and stuff like that. So you
Yeah.
could just do a randomly Scooby-Natural film, and the fans would get so excited because they're coming back, and
That
they
would
could
be
just say
beautiful.
this took place in season 14. Like it happened when obviously something like that. So it's just there's so many untold stories that you could just throw in there. I'm pretty sure there's probably gonna have a comic book coming out or something. You never know. There's so many avenues you can go down. When Charmed finished, they did comic books. When Buffy's finished, that's still going now. The comic book series. Buffy's
There might
now a
already be a
lesbian.
comic book series of Supernatural.
Yeah.
There's definitely
Like I said,
books.
yeah, I said Buffy's now a lesbian. So there you go.
Wow.
Oh, I think she's like bisexual, but yeah. So there's so many routes you can go down. I know Supernatural did have the anime series very early on as well. The anime series, which was the whole of series 1 animated, wasn't it? So
Yes.
the fan base is there, and they can definitely do so much more with it. And we just forget that most of that last episode. It's always going to be there. We know it's happened now. We can just choose to forget it.
You can. I am quite happy to have it there as closure. And now a week has passed and I have accepted. I've got to the acceptance stage of grief. Earlier on in the week, I didn't think I could ever watch that again, ever. I think I'd be okay to watch it again now. It would probably still kill me. Obviously, nowhere near as what it did at the time.
Especially if you watched them all.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I desperately just want to start from the beginning again now. Like I felt like that was the only thing that was going to make me feel better. Like Tracy on the Saturday, so we watched it on the Friday night. Saturday, she went straight back into watching it because she'd already restarted recently, so she went straight into season 2 and was like, "Oh, I can relax again. They're alive." So, yeah, that's what's going to make me feel better. And seeing the actors in different shows will make me feel better. So, yeah, it's been a good ride the past 15 years, and it's been a pleasure sharing the last 3 with you.
The last 3, yeah, definitely. I said I've enjoyed watching it because I said I know you love it more than I do. You don't really have a lot of TV shows.
You have the tattoo, so.
Oh yeah, I know.
Show everyone.
Just for the viewers. There you go. Hello.
Just for the viewers. Yeah, the first moment I met you, what did you do? Hey ladies, look at my tattoo.
I just did it to get the females. Don't
What
even like the show.
Like literally the moment I met you, you were like, what's your favorite movie? And Supernatural tattoo. And I was like, oh, why do I like this guy? Yeah.
Something along those lines, sure. But no, I meant like I watch so many different TV shows, whereas you're just like, I want to watch this and focus on this, and then go to another one and do that. Whereas I watch about 10 at the same time. Besides your DC shows, anyway.
I was gonna say, you say that, like I feel like that is what I'm like, but then I actually look at my list of what I've got open at the moment, and I've got 4 DC shows. I had Supernatural. We've now got The Boys. I've still got to finish Once Upon a Time. We've got Lucifer. We've got Smallville. And then there's loads of other stuff like The Last Kingdom and other kinds of things that I'm in the middle of watching. That I've just. It's because usually if something starts to go a bit shit, I get a bit bored and stop watching it. And then if they go, oh, we're finishing it completely, I'll go, right, okay, let's finish this bad boy. So that's why I've got quite a few things on the go. But like I still like to focus and enjoy one at a time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only thing I miss. Like I miss binging a complete TV show, and I'm sure when we're back together, we can binge Saved by the Bell reboot, and it's going to be great.
Yes.
Can't wait.
I have to wait for that.
Yeah, but like I said, there's so many shows. You need to watch Charmed. Like I rate Charmed higher than Supernatural. Like Charmed's one of my favorite TV shows of all time. And
it'll never be higher than Supernatural for me. Nothing ever will. But I have always wanted to watch it. I
completely understand. Like I said, Supernatural is its own mammoth of a show. Like for 15 years, you can't dispute it. I mean, same with the X-Files. X-Files has gone for 12 years. I've never watched it, but I can appreciate it for what it is. Whereas Supernatural had that fan base, it had that love. It's gone for so long, and it's an incredible TV show. I'd probably rank it in the top 10 of all time for me.
Mm-hmm.
But like Charmed for me is like I've watched that 3-4 times over. Like it's incredible, and it's one of my favorite TV shows ever. and again it's witchcraft and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
very similar to Agreed as demons and angels.
Yeah, I mean, I used to watch the odd episode because, again, it was on like on a Saturday morning or afternoon or something on Channel 4 or 5, and I used to enjoy it. But it's back then you didn't have, like catch up and recording as easily and all that. So back then you didn't really get as solidly into stuff. It's like I watched the odd episode of that and Smallville and The OC and Dawson's Creek all along at the same time, and I never really watched any of them completely. But now I want to go and watch all of those because they were good times.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure, we'll sit and watch Charmed, definitely.
Anytime.
That can be our new Supernatural.
Yeah.
But we need to finish Smallville. That's more important.
That's true. You get to see Jensen again, or youngish before he left for Supernatural.
Yeah, exactly. Even though he is a fine wine and is better older. But
Sure.
That's just a girl's perspective. So yeah, Supernatural, 15 years. Thank you. We'd like to say thank you right now to the creators, Eric Kripke and Robert Singer, and thank you to Jared and Jensen for sure, and Baby for being beautiful,
and Misha. You deserve more.
And Misha.
Yeah, that's it. I can't have any decorations because you stole all my pop figures.
And Mark. Well, I'm the host.
How many of them are yours? Just one. One of them is yours.
oh, I only haven't got the others because you already had them and we decided to move in together. So why buy the others when we can have a complete set?
Yeah.
So, and I did get you some. Did I get you some? No, I got you Crowley.
You got me Crowley, yeah.
But
I
mine
bought
is the
Catherine
coolest.
and Emma bought me Sam.
Yeah, mine is the coolest though. I have Dean and Baby, and
No, wait. Emma bought me other Dean with the.
Emma bought you. Yeah. Oh, Emma bought you your Dean. So you do have someone. Oh no, he'll be upstairs in the loft. Oh my God, Cass. Yeah, he'll be upstairs in the loft.
Yeah, he'll be upstairs in the loft with his Kane mark.
Kane mark. Oh, Kane. He was great.
Timothy Hobinson from Psych.
From Psych, I know. What the hell? I love actors
and
like
this
that.
Is Us.
I love actors like that are like in one thing and they're like completely like just really like nothing, and then like some kind of super.
Did you say he's completely cool, like nothing?
Not nothing, but like
Psych is incredible.
Like, no, I love like I like Psych, but like in that he's like not really like an attractive guy. He's like a bit weird and goofy, and then you look at him in Supernatural as Kane. He's like this super sexy, cool guy, and it's like what? It's true. So yeah, he's a cool actor. I like him.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's the end of Supernatural.
So we need to say goodbye to the boys and say thank you very much.
I'm pretty sure they're going to still be on display. So
yeah, always
back home and we can put them back out.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. But thank you for having me on and speaking about Supernatural.
Thank you for joining me tonight, Jamie Crawford, to talk about our amazing experience of Supernatural over the years and our emotional experience of the final episode. So before you go, you have your own podcast yourself, so would you like to plug that whilst you're here? Conversations
How many?
with?
I've got about 5. As a producer, I produce 2 podcasts and I have my own podcast.
Wow.
I produce this podcast to a degree.
What? You don't? It's mine. Back off.
I've got 2 podcasts, technically 3. I've got The Greatest Movies Ever, which is joint with Conversations with is on Spotify and Apple. So just type in Conversations with ... Jamie. It will come up. You'll see my face. It's basically like this.
Pensive.
Yeah. And I just speak to cool people about what they do. So we've had an American footballer on there. We've had a comedian on there. Who else have we had on there? I'm going completely blank. We've had Pokemon Collector on there.
Author and traveller.
Yes, somebody who travelled in his Ford Fiesta, 1994 Ford Fiesta, and travelled from Blackpool all the way to Mongolia for the Mongol
Wow.
Valley. So it's crazy, and it's just
Story,
cool
Mark.
people and cool stories, and I just enjoy listening to people and talking random crap. And then I've got my other one, which is the greatest movies ever, which is part of Conversations With. It's on the same channel, whereas a few of us, including yourself, go on and talk about films. We rank our top films of. Originally, it was the greatest movie ever. We did each decade, and then we ranked each movie, and then we had the greatest movie ever from each decade, and then they fought it out to be the greatest movie ever. We now do a monthly podcast where we have different genres. So the last one, October, is obviously Halloween. We'll be recording the next episode soon, which will be war movies in commemoration of Remembrance Day. And then next month, I wonder what it's going to be. It's going to be Christmas. So yeah, there's that one, and I also produce and star, shall we say, in Third and Short podcast, which is an American football podcast. So we talk all things American football. That's cool. That's with myself, Tom Higgins, and Matthew Davenport. I'm a Buccaneers fan, as you can tell in the background for people watching. And Tom's a New York Giants fan. Matt is a Las Vegas Raiders fan. And we just talk about American football. And we've had some cool guests on. We had Casey Phillips, who's the reporter for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Cool. We've had some super fans on there. We've also had like college draft episodes. And there's some cool things lined up in the future that we're doing on that one as well. So that's at Third Short Pod on Twitter and on Facebook, so you can find us on there. And I've also got another one in the pipeline, which will be starting soon. So just check me out on Facebook. I'm sure it's going to come up at some point. But basically, the guy that I did the American football one with, Johnny Morehouse, we are going to be looking to do a football manager podcast. So some more stuff is going to come out about that recently, as Football Manager was recently launched on the PC for Football Manager 21. So we'll be doing a podcast about that. We're just working out the details of what we're going to be doing, but I'm really excited for that one. Like I said, I love playing Football Manager. It's one of my favorite games ever. So I'm looking forward to that. And then, like I said, we've got our own thing with the films as well. I'm sure I'm going to pop in and out of your podcast as well. So
I hope so. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm a busy man whilst doing my PGCE as well. So.
Oh yeah, late on. Cool. Well, yeah, that's great, everyone. You better go and check out Jamie's podcast, Conversations With, and Third and Short. Follow all the details he's given you. But for now, cheers, Supernatural. Chink, chink.
Clink.
Link. And thank you very much, Jamie, for joining me.
Carry on my wayward son.
Are we allowed to sing that? Who knows?
There's no music, so we're fine. I'm pretty sure it's out of key anyway, so we're good.
It's a good job we can't sing. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming, and we will love to have you on again.
Thank you very much. It's been fun. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. See you later. Okay, guys. So that was Supernatural. Carry on, my wayward son. Don't you cry no more. And we have all cried. We have shed so many tears over the 15 years, none more so than last week. As we've said, thank you so much to Eric Ripley and Robert Singer for the creation of Supernatural. And thank you so much to Jared and Jensen for giving us Sam and Dean for 15 years. It's just been an amazing ride, and thank you very much. So before I start crying again, look forward to seeing them in their new shows, Walker and The Boys. Make sure you guys check them out as well. And my God, if you've never seen Supernatural, we shouldn't have just watched this because spoilers. But check it out, man. It's great. Also, as we've just discussed, we're going to be doing a few more cool things here on Merc Space over the next few weeks. I'm going to have a West End actor on for a chat. Mark Bush will be joining me next week. Also going to be doing a Sean Connery memorial pod, just to look back at his career over the years. So look out for those videos coming up. But yeah, thank you very much for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed, and click that follow button and share the video and tell your friends. Thank you very much.